DallasCowboys.com 2019 mock draft.
Well, it's finally time. The long-awaited Cowboys mock draft is here. I'm Lindsay Draper here in the studio, and it is going to be a good one. At the end of today's mock draft with our DallasCowboys.com writers, you get to vote on who you think had the best draft. Here are some of the big names that you've been thinking about, talking about, and here are my big name writers over here for DallasCowboys.com. Nick, Brian, Dave, and Rob, how do you guys feel about your picks? I know you've been studying, but how accurate are you feeling today?
You feeling good?
No. They don't pick till 58. How can I possibly feel good? But I'm going to give it a run.
All right.
But some are studying a little bit more than others.
Yo, the guys with the
two
draft show
matching?
t-shirts.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. That's
As
what we
Brian
feel.
would say, the Ryder Cup over here.
Shameless
Picking
self-promotion.
Second round pick number 58 and then the third round pick number 90. These guys are going to give you who they think will end up with a star on their helmet. Nick Eatman, you are up first.
All right, let's get this thing started. With the 58th pick in the 2019 draft, the Cowboys select Juan Thornhill, safety, Virginia.
All right, Nick, the first one to bring a safety off the board. Now tell me why you went safety here, because I think that's what everybody wants.
I'm one of those guys that thinks that safety really is a pretty big need, just because it hasn't been addressed that much in the early rounds, and I think that it's relatively deep in the second round for some safeties. I love what Thornhill is, not only on the back end, but I like the way he can kind of knife through the line and make some tackles behind the line of scrimmage. It seems like he's really good at angles, which is what you want for a safety. So if he's around, now 58 might be a stretch with him, but if he's around, I think the Cowboys would love to get him.
Yeah, I think they see him kind of like as a player like with Byron Jones, that a guy has like the capability of playing as a free safety, but also playing as a corner. So this is a team that always likes that flexibility.
So he might be a safety for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and Chris Richard like, no.
Yeah, move him on over.
All right, next up for our mock draft, Brian Broaddus.
Right. Hello, Nashville. With the 58th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys take Jawan Williams, cornerback, Vanderbilt.
All right, Brian, talk to me about cornerback. You have been studying for this draft since the night the Cowboys lost to the Rams. How confident are you that they'll go with Jawan Williams?
Well, I'll tell you what, though. What I like about Jawan Williams is the fact that Chris Richard plays with big corners. That's his M.O. If you go back to the days of when he was with Seattle, you know, you go with Richard Sherman, you talk about a guy that has length, he has reach, and he has 4.55 speed. That's what Richard Sherman was coming out of Stanford. Now, he was a fifth-round pick, but this team wants to get bigger at corner. They want to get longer at corner. They want to be able to deny the football, though. It's a very sneaky need for this team if you look at contracts up not only after this season, but also in 2020. Let's get this started, getting that fixed now.
You are obsessed with this guy.
I love this player.
Been talking about this guy for 3 months.
Oh, yeah, he's my 47th best player out of my top 100.
All right, so he may or may not be there, but another obsession. David is obsessed with Brian wearing the same shirt as him.
Look,
come on,
you're
Dave.
gonna outfit us in the polo for the podcast.
Ryder
I'm going to
Cup.
wear it. It's fine.
Come
Don't
on,
worry
Dave,
about
it's
it.
time for your pick.
All right,
Pick
it's time for my
58.
pick. All right. All right, let's try my hand at this thing. With the 58th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, I've got the Dallas Cowboys selecting Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, safety out of Florida.
All right, Dave, so you're going defense as well here, and this is a player that the Cowboys brought in for their 30 visits. Did you get any inkling of if they liked him or kind of liked him less after his visit?
Well, here's my thing, is he was here. He interviewed with the Cowboys. I think of it as the same way as Nick did, talking about Juan Thornhill. This is a guy, deep safety class. If a safety is going to be there, you know, it's probably not going to be your Taylor Rapp or your Jonathan Abram. He's a little bit down the line. He's a versatile guy. Played nickel corner his last year at Florida. He's got a nose for the football. Kind of a cocky guy, which is something I like in a DB, and maybe it rubs some people the wrong way, but it's served a lot of successful DBs well in the past. And again, you're picking at 58. You're kind of at the mercy of what all these other teams are going to do. So I think this is a guy who has a reasonable expectation of being there, can play multiple positions. And I think it would fit for what the Cowboys can hope to expect from that 58th pick.
And he was kind of a point man for them, getting them lined up in the secondary. And he's a playmaker. Stephen Jones talked about it just in general. If they're going to draft a safety, they need a guy who can make plays.
Returned 2 picks for touchdowns in his final college game. I'll take that.
Pretty interesting. And another thing, we've got 3 guys in the secondary so far. Rob Phillips, you are up for pick 58.
All right, I'm going to use a little more confidence than Dave had. With the 58th pick in the NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys select defensive end L.J. Collier from TCU.
Okay, Rob Phillips is picking a player from right up the road at TCU. What do you like about him, Rob?
He's a pass rusher. You can never have enough of those guys. And while they filled a need with Robert Quinn trading for him from Miami, this is a spot that could be a sneaky need in terms of next year. Quinn's on a 1-year deal. You don't know Randy Gregory's status, currently indefinitely suspended. Tank Lawrence is coming off shoulder surgery, so we'll see when he'll be ready. You think it'll be hopefully by the start of the season. This is a guy that's gotten better and better at TCU. He finally got in the starting lineup and produced, was effective as a pass rusher. So it's a little bit of a value pick, maybe an upside pick at a spot that you could have depth issues in a year from now.
And the fact that you didn't even mention Taco Charlton is another part of that, too. I mean, he's a guy that was supposed to be in this mix, and you don't know this year if you can count on him or even next year.
Yeah, but this guy rushes the passer. He's got more tools in the tool belt than what Taco had as a pass rusher. So
What would this pick mean for Tyrone Crawford? Do you move him inside?
oh, maybe,
Well,
yeah,
it would help
maybe,
your numbers
yeah,
at tackle.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe
Yeah,
you have to keep you from drafting a tackle.
I
Yeah.
can live with that.
All right, that wraps up round 2 for us. 4 players on defense coming to the Cowboys. According to these guys, what about round 3? Pick number 90, Nick. We are sending it back to you. Make it interesting, big fella.
With the 90th pick in the NFL draft, the Cowboys select Armon Watts, defensive tackle, Arkansas.
Right, a little pig suey action here. Tell me why you like Armon Watts and where he could help the Cowboys from day one.
Well, Rod Marinelli loves these pass rushers from the inside, the guys that can line up over the ball but still have some sneaky quickness to them. And Watts is a guy that definitely would play the tackle. Hey, I think he could play 1 or the 3, but 2012, they got Tyrone Crawford inside. 2016, Malik Collins. And I think Armon Watts is a similar type of player. It's about time to get another guy in the 3rd round from the defensive tackle position. So he'd be my guy.
Does this sound like some inside trader information going on?
Yeah,
here
seriously, the Arkansas
today?
connection.
I mean, this is the first time I've really heard this young man's name.
Yeah.
He was in the magazine. You had him in the magazine.
Oh, no, I had him in the magazine,
Yeah.
but
You know where the owners went to school. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't rule
absolutely.
it out.
I believe, though, and I hear that all the time. Well, you know Jerry's going to draft the guy. I think Felix Jones is the only Arkansas player ever drafted by Jerry
Well,
Jones.
obviously, we have no idea if the names are right, but if the Cowboys could have their way, that is the stacking of the positions. If they could get out of rounds 2 and 3 with a safety and a D tackle, I think that's what they want.
And Watts is a little like Collier in that he worked his way into the starting lineup at Arkansas. It took him a couple years and then was really productive last year. So maybe it's an upside pick.
Productive
All
on a
right.
2-10 team.
5 picks in, we've got defense all across the board. Brian Broaddus, will you be changing that or sticking with defense?
With the 90th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys take Tristan Hill, defensive tackle, Central Florida.
Now, Brian, this is a guy I'm going to agree with you here. Really liked his 30 visit here with the Cowboys.
Yeah, and the thing with Tristan Hill, I think, is he got caught in a situation at Central Florida where he went from one coaching staff with Scott Frost, and then you go to Josh Heupel, and that kind of messed him up a little bit. He was a guy that wasn't a starter, but I think when you talk about this team hunting those 3 techniques, those under tackles. And I feel like the value there, this might be a guy that you have to take. He was 67 on my top 100. You might have to take this guy at 58. I am banking or hoping that he could get all the way to you at 90. But again, a guy that could play a couple different positions, but I think he's best playing that under tackle, which would be great as a backup to Malik Collins.
That's what, Lindsay asked at the top of the segment if we feel confident or accurate. No, because we're picking at the back end of these rounds. Like, I'm terrified all these names are going to go earlier than the Cowboys will have an opportunity, him included.
Well, hopefully, Dave, your next pick is on the money. You're next. What do you got?
Shouts out to Rob Phillips, my resident Aggie over here on the set, because with the 90th overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, I've got the Cowboys taking Travion Williams, running back out of Texas A&M.
All right, David, first offensive pick for us today in our mock draft, and you are wanting to help Dak Prescott out, it seems.
Well, here's the thing. I just joked a minute ago, I don't want a running back at 58. I don't really want one at 90, if I'm being totally honest. But again, you're picking at the back end of these rounds. What are the odds that, a Tristan Hill or a defensive tackle, I don't see the value there at 90. Do I want to draft a running back there? Not really, but I need a great backup for Ezekiel Elliott. Travion Williams can do that. He is a complete back. I think he can handle an NFL workload. I think he would be a fantastic complement, or, God forbid, because of injury, a guy who can fill in for a long period of time. You probably have to take him there. I certainly don't think he's there in the 4th. Am I thrilled about it? No, but I'd rather have a great running back than reach at another position.
If I'm calling in on Facebook or the things that we're rating the draft, this swung me right here.
Oh, yeah?
This pick right.
Well, thank
this is one of those picks that I think, though, yeah, you don't want to take a running back, but this kid has got all the traits you want. He's tough. He could catch. He could block. He'd be a perfect guy to put in there, and you could do things with him. He's a finisher. This guy had 1,700 yards in the SEC, last year. So this guy's got everything you want as a player, a backup. If you could get him at 90, that is a steal to me.
Gig'em.
Just trying to get value.
He brightened up a lot of my Saturdays. He's an efficient back, and he's going to be really good at the next level.
And what I like about him is he can get 3 yards on 3rd and 2. He also can go 85 and take
Right, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
So you like those combinations.
No better introduction to Rob Phillips than from an Aggie. So, Rob, to wrap up, pick number 90, round 3. You're up.
With the 90th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Amani Hooker, safety from Iowa.
All right, Rob, another safety off the board. It seems that you guys are really committed, along with the coaching staff and scouts, to get a safety in here. And it's interesting because they said this isn't usually where we put our money, but it seems like this might be the year they do.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little tricky here, and because it's a deep safety class, Gil Brandt told us last week about how deep it really is. I'm trying to wait to 90 and get that guy. To me, he would be a nice complement eventually to Xavier Woods. Maybe he's not a starter his first year, but this is a guy who can play around the box. He's a sure tackler. He's made plays in coverage. I think he had 4 interceptions last year. He's got some position flex, but he would complement your young, talented safety that you already have.
No, Rob's right about this. This is a guy that when you start talking about box players, though, and how physical you have to be, you can put this guy down there with Van Der Esch, with Smith. He'll be real comfortable playing down there, carrying guys underneath, carrying guys up the field, creating turnovers. This guy likes contact. So Rob with a really smart pick there.
All right, guys, it is your time now to vote right here on Facebook Live. These are your final picks. Take a final look and get your votes in. And coming up, we have so much draft coverage for you coming up this weekend for the draft. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, everything will be streaming from DallasCowboys.com, the app, and Cowboys Now. You'll want to see those guys in their polos doing their thing. And we hope that you guys enjoyed our mock draft for the 2019 NFL Draft.